Hello. I just wanted to quickly go over with y'all the way this essay is going to be graded since we didn't get to go over that in the collaborate session because we had a lot of other stuff to cover and we were a little behind. So, um, just up here at the top, right? Just some things to be aware of. Again, this is the English department's mandatory standard rubric. Um, just like as always, if you don't use MLA paper format, I got to take 5 points. So please make sure that you use the correct MLA format. Going over the guidelines on page 666 of your handbook. You can also just Google MLA paper format, but whatever. Okay. Writing center. If you go and do a virtual writing center appointment, which I think would probably be a really smart play, just because, there's a lot of moving parts to this paper. There's a lot of bits and pieces, and we're not going to be too focused on sentence level editing in these workshops. So if you need help with that, then go get help with that. They're also good at citation stuff too. So if you're feeling iffy about that, they can be of help in addition to any help you want to get from me. Okay, so this is kind of like the scary part, but you need to be aware of it. The following are grounds for an automatic failure of this essay. Yes. Yeah, I know. Plagiarism. We went over that in the collaborate session. If you need to go back over it again, you go back over it again. The recording is up. This includes, obviously, if you purchase a paper online, which I don't know how you could really do that for this assignment, but I don't know, whatever. I guess you could hire someone to do it. There are people out there who'll do that. Save your money, do it yourself. Just do it yourself because it's the right thing to do. Any information that has been copy pasted and put into the paper without documentation from an outside source, which we can usually tell when you've done that. A lot of times people just don't even change the font to make it fit with the other font. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. If there is missing, if you turn in the paper and it doesn't have any in-text citations in it, it fails. I'm sorry. Or if it's missing the works cited page, it fails. Sorry. Or if there's stuff in there that's not written by you and you didn't indicate that with quotation marks, like we talked about, then yeah. Excessive quotation. So what that means is, we talked about this a little bit in the source incorporation video. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. If you need to go back and watch it again, watch it again. Again, we talked about the limit for directly quoting from your sources in a research paper is 10 to 15%. I do go through and count that. I just highlight the stuff that's in quotation marks and I use the word count feature and then I do some math. And the department guidelines is that if over 30%, more than a third basically of the essay has been directly quoted from outside sources, the paper should not pass because you didn't really write a paper. How can I grade half a paper? If you didn't write half of it, what kind of grade is that supposed to get? It's kind of impossible to grade that. So, all right. Yeah. Stuff about purchase, copy, paste online. Don't do that. Okay. So hopefully we're all clear on that. But you're not going to do any of those things. So let's talk about how to get a good grade. So this is a 150-point essay. It is worth a very large chunk of your grade. So again, if you're struggling with any of this, we're going to help you all we can in the Padlet draft sessions. Just do your best and we can give you feedback on your drafts. But also come to my office hours, right? Send me emails, send me stuff to look at. I'm happy to look at stuff as you're working on it. Use me as a resource. I want you to get a good grade on this stuff. I want you to do well because I like you. Okay, for content. So it's a third of the grade is for content. So to get the full on that, it's just like the other rubric. You were clearly fully focused on the assignment, meaning you stayed neutral if it's a controversial issue of some kind. You were doing what the assignment asked you to do. Your thesis was stated thoroughly, and you went on to fully develop that thesis in the body, and your paragraphs were nice and substantive and chunky and full of good, well paraphrased and summarized information with the occasional quote thrown in there. Not throat, quote in there. Okay, and then it goes down from there. Organization, same as always. Your introduction establishes context. That's that background information. Don't forget to cite it, kids. Introduction previews content in order. If you've done your thesis correctly, check that off. Your conclusion's effective. So just remember, don't bring in anything new. Just sum up what was already discussed. Even if the conclusion is just that we don't have like one single answer or the jury's still out on something, so to speak, that's fine. Okay. Sometimes the conclusion is that there is no conclusion yet. That's okay. That's part of the magic and the mystery of research. It's great. It's a means to an end, right? You might not be at the end. It's okay. Maybe no one is. That's the idea. Paragraphs have topic sentences that support the thesis, so we'll make sure those are looking good in this first Padlet draft that's due tomorrow. Your paragraphs, tomorrow being Tuesday, paragraphs are effectively focused. You stay on topic. You don't go off the rails and go off topic. Grammar and usage, same as always. Good sentence structure, accurate punctuation, good spelling, good diction, meaning good word choices, right? Don't abuse the thesaurus. Put a bunch of fancy words in there you don't know the meaning of, really. We can always tell. And it makes you sound weird. Don't do it. Like, we want you to sound like yourself, but your best self. And if you need help with this, Writing Center, right? And hey, even if they tell you it's beautiful and perfect, you got extra credit just for being told how perfect and beautiful you are. Like, there's nothing to lose, right? Okay, so this is something a little different. A third of the paper's grade is for the source, use, and citation, okay? So accurate means that your citations were done correctly. Okay, so if you need to go back and watch that Collaborate session where we go over the formatting guidelines and stuff, and obviously have your handbook at the ready so you can look things up. Ask any questions. If you're not sure if you're doing it right, we'll give you feedback too on the Padlets. Okay, it was adequate, meaning you had citations everywhere you needed them to be. Okay, you weren't missing any citations. Everything was accounted for in text, and you had a corresponding works cited entry for each one. And then that takes us to clear, which is talking about the relationship between the in-text and the works cited, meaning like you were consistent. You didn't mix it up and like sometimes use an author name, sometimes use an article title, switching back and forth, things like that. Remember, it's plan A and plan B. Plan A is author name. If you don't have that, then you go to plan B, article title. Don't switch back and forth. And that your works cited entries were clear and had all the details they need to get me back to your source where you found it, because I do that. I do go and actually look up your sources. And if I can't find them, you done it wrong. Okay. Which goes to, okay, minor errors. Internal is talking about the in-text citations. External is talking about the works cited entries. So minor errors for me would be something like, you forgot to put something in italics in the works cited entry, or let's say you put the period before the parenthetical citation, not after. Like, that's, none of that stuff is deal breaker. It won't get you a perfect score, but it's not bad. Like, nothing was missing or like horribly wrong. Okay. Which goes down to few, which goes to excessive. All right. It's up to me to determine what the difference between few and excessive is. I look at it in terms of like how many errors you have and just how bad the errors are. Let's say instead of doing, the author name for the parenthetical citation or signal phrase or whatever, your in text, you just say Wikipedia. That's it. Or something like that. That I would say is like an excessively bad error, because Wikipedia has millions of articles and I need to know what the title of the one you used was called, because otherwise I probably won't be able to find it, right? So just do your best, okay? And then if you are missing citations, that, can take a big chunk here too, all right? Now, if you're missing, like we talked about, if you're missing all your in-text citations or the entire works cited page, your essay will fail, okay? Like, I'm not trying to be mean or jerky or like scary or anything. It's just, if a student turns in a paper that has no in-text citations or no works cited or both, that paper will not pass, okay? It may not get any credit at all. So yeah, this is it. This is the big one, right? This is stuff you need to be able to do to go on to other courses. Like, it's a really big deal. Colleges take this stuff really seriously, and just do your best on the drafts. And that way we can, if you've got any of these problems, we can point them out and help you and make sure that the final submission that you turn in is polished and lovely. All right. Okay. If you have any questions, come to my office hours, send me an email. I know we went over everything really quickly, and normally we would have a lot more time to look at stuff together, but I will do my best to be here for you and to help you through the process virtually. Okay, so don't panic. Everything's going to be fine. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. Take care. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face.